is meant to align with the information that I'm sharing or what I'm talking about, they will align with that and show up. So it's just, it is. Hello, hello. Hi, Sari. It's a beautiful Thursday here, Thursday, February 5th. For those of you who are not aware of which day it is the 5th of February. We're just whipping through this month already. Can't believe, how quickly time seems to be going. I don't know if you feel the same way with that, or for you, maybe you feel that time's moving by at average rate, normal, nothing's changed. But maybe you're one of those people who is like me as well, who feels like time's a little bit faster. Like each day seems to go by a little bit quicker than maybe what it did when we were younger or a few years back. So my name's Tanya, and I also go by Sha'Ryah. Sha'Ryah is my soul name. So when I am channeling and stuff like that, Sha'Ryah and Lorian, and I have books that I write under that name, and all of the books that I write that are more spiritually inclined tend to be underneath that name. So, for example, I write children's books, and the children's book that is written underneath Sha'Ryah and Lorian is the Infinite Wonders book. This is book 6 in the Luminous Soul series. It's just a beautiful series that I write. In case this is the inside of the book, to give an example. And it just continues. Every time you dream, explore, and grow, the universe grows too. You are a part of the great unfolding, and with every new idea you have, you add something beautiful to existence. Activity. Imagine your thoughts turning into tiny stars that float into the sky. What kind of light are you adding to the universe today? So they're just books targeted at children, where, maybe the parents are a little more spiritually aware, understanding that energy, we're all connected, so on and so on. So I do write under Sha'Ryah and Lorian, but also under Tanya Baldwin. And the Tanya Baldwin stories are things that I've written for my nieces, nephews, and grandchildren, and all of those types of books. The first children's story that I actually published was Jessie. Jessie learns to create calm spaces. So if you have a child that has anxiety or deals with overwhelm, or just emotions and needs a soothing book, this one here goes through the 4-element mindfulness technique plus color encoding and emotion. We naturally, if I was to ask you to close your eyes and to think of just the first color that comes to mind when I say love, and you might get a flash of pink. You might get, I think turquoise is another color that comes up frequently for that. But whatever the color is, it may be unique to you. You may be one that has a more rare color that is aligned with specific emotions, or it may be like the vast majority who yellow is the color for joy or happiness. And you may have the same color. I do. I'm not original in that. I like yellow as my joy color, just like the sun. So anyway, it color encodes an emotion. And the 2 emotions that it works with in this book are calm. So what makes you feel here, calm down. So in the color coding and emotion, I got her to come up with a color for happiness, which is yellow, and then a color for safety. And for safety, the story is brown. And so the children, when you purchase this book, you have the opportunity. Your child can take and tear out one of these pages that has the color that they've associated with happiness or safety or love or joy, whatever emotions that you want. Maybe they went with calm and their color for calm is purple. So they can tear this sheet off and carry it in their pocket, or they can always color one of the blank ones, color it whatever color that they associate it with. And this just walks them through the entire process. So it'll have whatever color they have for the emotion that they want to generate. So if they want to get to a calm space, or if they want to get to feeling safe in their body, or if they want to be in a happy space or a joyful space. And it takes you through the earth element, which is grounding your body. So it says to ground or feel your body. The second step is wind, and it says breathe slow and deep, 6 seconds in, 3 seconds hold, 9 seconds out. And then it says water, and it says drink or wet your palate, because one of the techniques that it teaches, hello, Cindy. One of the techniques that it teaches in the water section is this trick where you can lift your tongue up and rub it against the soft palate. So if you lift your tongue to the roof of your mouth and you run it back, you'll feel a ridge where it goes from the hard palate to the soft palate. Well, when you run your tongue back and forth in the space where your soft palate is, that will trigger saliva letdown. And when you're in an anxious or even depressed space, if you're overwhelmed, if your nervous system is dysregulated, one of the things that happens is that you're no longer in rest and digest, and your saliva production can be shut off. So this has a twofold way of working, right? If you do this and you start to have saliva let down, once that saliva is in your mouth, your nervous system starts to equate that as, I must be in rest and digest, because I wouldn't be producing saliva if I wasn't, right? So that's how one of the ways that it helps to move you into a calm state quicker. So it goes through that. And then the last one after the water is to fire up your imagination. And this is where you're encouraged to fire up your imagination in images that are in the color of whatever emotion you have encoded to, say, happiness, yellow, or safety, brown, or calm. Maybe your calm is lavender. The fact that you're putting that color into your mind is going to help move you into that emotional space. Right? That's how they trick us with advertising. So color theory, or how we are relate to colors in an emotional capacity. This isn't something that's new. It's something that advertisers have used for a long time. That's why the arches in McDonald's are yellow, because yellow is the #1 color for joy or happiness. So when people see it, they immediately feel happier, and then they put the tagline of the happiest place on earth, or Playland, which is also playing on happiness. So this is how they encourage us to purchase things. But you can use that same thing to your benefit, and when we're talking about emotional regulation, right? So you can shift yourself with color. So that's an example for coloring your home too, like everything. Right? Make sure that the colors around you are supporting the emotions and energy that you want. So anyway, this was the first children's book that I ever published, and it's published under Tanya Baldwin. Then I went on to write a book for my oldest grandson, Jack, and we have a series of books called The Adventures of Jack and Nanny B. This one here, it's called Monster Edition, and Jack and Nanny B are hunting monsters, and Jack is armed with light and Nanny is armed with love, and they go out and find these monsters. What the monsters are actually little girls and boys who have been mistreated or abandoned or, bullied, made fun of. And so they've become monsters through the way that they've been treated. And what Jack and Nanny B do is they remind them who they are. And with, love and acceptance, they turn back into the little boys and girls that they always were. So that's the second book that I wrote. Well, I have two grandsons, so I couldn't have just one story. And this one is actually one of my best sellers. And it was such a, just one of those books that just, all of these three books, they came out of me so just purely, so quickly. I think all of them really have. It's been just, it's a passion. It's a passion for sure. So my other grandson is Charlie. And so I started a series with him as well called Choo Choo Charlie and His Adventures with Nanny B. His book, because at the time that I wrote it, he was working on some of these things. So his book is No Spitting, No Biting, No Hitting, and No Kicking. So they go on a choo-choo train to Storyland, him and Nanny B, and they encounter all of these different animals. So they encounter an ostrich, and the ostrich spits on Charlie. And Nanny B runs over and says, no biting, no spitting, no hitting, and no kicking. And the ostrich runs away. Then, I've got to show you some of these characters. They're pretty cute. So that's the ostrich that spit on him. No, and made him run away. So next he sees a little baby alligator, and he's so cute. So Charlie can't resist reaching out to touch him before Nanny can say, don't touch. And you know what that little alligator did? Tries to bite him. The case of an alligator, that's what they do. So he snapped at his fingers. And of course, Nanny B tells him the same message. No spitting, no biting, no hitting, and no kicking. Next, they meet a monkey. And when Charlie gives the monkey a banana, the monkey slaps the banana out of his hand. And of course, Nanny B says, no spitting, no biting, no hitting, and no kicking. So next they come upon some kangaroos. The monkey taught Charlie a lesson to stay back. So did the alligator. So he stayed back. He thought they might be dancing or something, but it turns out they're fighting. And the one kicks the other one. So that's when Charlie says, hey, you know it. No spitting, no biting, no hitting, and no kicking. He tells them because he learned the lesson, so now he taught it. And so they left. They leave. And that's when Charlie determines he's had quite enough on this trip. He really likes hugs and kisses, and he just wants to go home. So there are other books to come out in these series. I've just kind of been thinking about what I'm going to bring out next with those two. And I do have stories written now. They just changed kind of the focus or the vibe, the energy. They just changed a little bit. And yeah, then I started writing the Luminous Soul series, which I showed you. Book 6 was Infinite Wonders. And then that's in my pseudonym, Sha'Ryah and Lorian. And then I went back to writing underneath Tanya Baldwin. And I did this series for my nieces and granddaughter. So this series follows 4 heroines. I'm Tiana. I didn't want to put Tanya, so I did Tiana. I just twisted it around just a tiny bit. And then it also follows my nieces, Parisa and Sha'Ryah, and my granddaughter, Mariah. So the 4 heroines, they encounter mythical creatures, and they have these they teach a lesson. Every story has something that it teaches within it. There's a little touch of humor. This one here, I just absolutely love. I read a couple, I think I read at least one maybe 2 chapters of this. I did a preview of either chapter 1 and chapter 2, or just chapter 1. I can't remember. But this is a tale of identity and self-acceptance. It's a beautiful story for, like school-aged children who maybe are struggling with being accepted. That it's, this is a water phoenix, the first of its kind. Welcome. Teaching you that it's okay to just be who and what you are. It's okay. So this is book 5. So each one of the girls already has a story. Tiana is on her second. In March, on the 20th, Parisa's second book comes out. And it's going to be about mermaids. So we have had encounters with a goblin. We have encountered pixies, a werewolf, a Pegasus, and Phoenix. And the next one is mermaids. So just a beautiful little series for children. And now we're done with all of the book talk. There's lots of books that I have out there. You can get the ebooks on my website, or you can get the physical copy on Amazon worldwide. How's everybody doing? Like, how are you handling everything? I know that, like, out in society right now, we're dealing with a lot. Like, there's a lot coming at us, and it's gotten increasingly worse, right? One of the things about having a computer in the palm of your hand all the time is not that it gave us access to more knowledge, because oftentimes that's not what we're doing. It just gave us access to more information, and it was another way for us to fragment our attention, right? So your attention becomes fractured the more things that you give it to simultaneously. And our attention is already put on other things, even without us knowing it. And this was a teaching that I did today as a part of a 10-day self-paced series that I'm putting out called Return to Center. Hi, Amy. How are you, love? This returning to center, right? It's just about simplifying and drawing your awareness and your attention back. It's this 10-day thing, this 10-day return to center. Oh my God, I'm loving creating this, and I think that you're really going to like it. It's a very soft and gentle process. This is not trauma excavation. It's none of that. It's just orientation and stabilization, so that you can handle what's coming at you, or you can handle expansion, right? If that's what your next thing is. So yeah, I did that. I also put out a teaching on, I'll have it on TikTok at some point on the channels, but right now it's available on my YouTube channels, both on Sha'Ryah and Sha'Ryah and Lorian. This long form educational content is most often put on the on Sha'Ryah channel, whereas the channeling and the lives, I'm just other stuff like that is the Sha'Ryah and Lorian channel. It's my primary channel, the one that I do most of my posting to, but long form education stuff is on Sha'Ryah channel. So today we're going to be talking about Christ consciousness. That's what we talk about on Thursdays. I'm just looking for my show notes. It'll just take me a minute. Because today is February 5th, and today we talk about Christ consciousness. On Tuesdays, and I might switch it to Monday just so that we start it at the beginning of the week, and it's just, it might appeal to people more on the Monday. But anyway, on Tuesdays, I do the check-in with the living sky, which is true sidereal astrology. I don't use tropical or mainstream or seasonal or any of the other systems. I use true sidereal here. And that just means that I work with the living sky as it actually is. And that's what true sidereal is. Okay, so, and I also do what I call Krystic astrology, and all that means is free of distortions. So I don't try to look at astrology as it's not a personality test, and I don't look at like putting all of these like negative connotations into any of the signs or the planets or any of that. I talk about them in the way that they should be talked about. So instead of saying Virgo is a perfectionist that's highly critical, I say that Virgo is concerned with mastery and operates through refinement, and is refinement of your personal environment. So if you go through Leo season, and Leo season is about your authenticity and what fires you up, what gets you passionate, right? What lights you up. So when you figure out what lights you up, then Virgo says, okay, so this season, when Leo lit you up, you decided you wanted to run a marathon. Well, then Virgo goes, okay, this is what that's going to involve. We got to be devoted. And in that devotion, there has to be this discipline. And the discipline is we need to walk, we need to run progressively further and further and further, right? Like we've got to build up our esteem. Like we got to build up our ability to do so. Right? We have to build up our endurance. There we go. I could not get to endurance for some reason. And that's the Virgo energy. And we have that right now with the Virgo moon. And we'll talk a little bit about it. Oh, I love that. That makes me feel so happy reading that, Cindy. I have to pause when I have to choose when I pause so I don't interrupt my train of thought. But yes. And that's what the whole, like, about slowing down. There's the concept of slowing down, bringing our attention or our awareness back to us or back to our families, back into that more intimate spaces, as opposed to where our awareness or our attention is spread out so far to everybody else, right? You know, like you're looking at a news story one moment that's talking about Ukraine, and the next moment is talking about somewhere else and somewhere else and somewhere else, and it's just so on and so forth, and it keeps going. All right, let's return to talking about our let's go back to talking about Christ consciousness and what our show is all about today. Okay. All right. Where is my notes on the 5th? Okay, here we go. All righty. So this is our Thursday live on Christ consciousness and the Krystic pathway. That's what I teach. That true sidereal. I'm somebody that was encoded to show up here and to be really upset, really about the truth, and finding out what the truth is and then teaching it. That's apparently what I wanted to do, what I said I would do. All right, so tonight is about stability, not restraint, and presence, not pressure. We are moving from Capricorn, which is structure. That's that big daddy energy where, you know, we know the direction that we're headed in. We're building the solid foundation. We're preparing. What we're doing is refining for that legacy that'll last for generations. And we're going to pass that torch to Aquarius, who is going to say, this is great, but what can we do about future generations? And what can we do about humanity? So it's going to move into that very, that space is where we're moving. So because we're moving there, Christ consciousness allows vision to be held inside the body rather than above it. So we're going to take a nice slow breath and feel our feet. Okay, I'm standing, so my feet are firmly planted on the ground. If you're seated, maybe they're not. Maybe you're seated cross-legged. But just focused on the lowest part of your body that's contacting the ground, the floor, the earth, the surface. And just slow your breath down. And out. We're just letting our nervous system settle. It's so engaged anymore. It's engaged with all of these preoccupations with everything that's going on around the world. At one moment, like I said, your attention's over in Ukraine, it's in Ontario, it's in, the US, it's here, it's there, it's everywhere. It's with your family, it's with your friends, it's with your job, it's with the future, it's with the past, it's with what you want to buy. Your attention's just everywhere. So it's good to take a moment and just slow your breathing down, return to center, feel your body in this moment in time. So the collective field is going to start to feel that very anticipatory energy, right? As we're moving towards Aquarius, that anticipation starts to build because that's very future oriented. We're starting to get ideas, and we are starting to have possibilities surface. Without grounding, this can become urgency or mental overactivation. And for a lot of us, we live up in our brain, not down in our body, right? We're really up there with our thoughts, and they're quite fast and active and, in all kinds of different directions. What Christ consciousness does is stabilizes this moment by restoring coherence. And we return to coherence when we return to presence, when we return to integrity, when we return to lived truth. All of those things are ways that we restore coherence. So living in integrity is extremely important. So Christ consciousness is not an activation state. It's a container. It's how you live your life in presence and awareness, and in that space without fragmentation, right? It's how much capacity your nervous system can handle without collapse as well, right? How stable can you be? And this, when we build that container, utilizing, when we build that container, we allow that inspiration to arise without fragmenting the nervous system, without throwing you off, without putting you into overwhelm, causing anxiety, causing you to self-sabotage or to hop out of alignment because of fear or, those other emotions coming up and hijacking. And maturity is not how much you perceive, it's how well you can hold truth without urgency. And we're living this urgent, this truth, like constant truth being thrown at us from all these different spaces. And that truth is so incredibly harming to us, right? Like, we're not meant to be inundated with this information. We're not meant to be hearing these things like the Epstein files, right? We're not meant to be engaging with traumas on our feeds all the time. When I'm on mine, what I tend to do is I just hit the X, and I keep hitting the X when I see things come up where it's just that is sensationalism almost, right? Nothing's written in that really, factual, unbiased, direct way. It's all written with very inflammatory language, pushing either one ideology or the other. It's just polarize, divide, conquer. It's just all of that stuff, right? And we're not meant to be inundated with the level of stories that we're being inundated with. We're not meant to hear these things. When you think about, it's just so opposed to our humanity to hear the things that we're hearing nowadays. It's so hard on us. So if you're not careful and you're having, and this is, on your feed, it's going to cause your nervous system to become overwhelmed. It could cause your nervous system to collapse, right? So when we operate from Christ consciousness, we're operating from that detachment. It's a container. I know I don't engage with it. First off, I was aware before, and I stay detached from that. It's terrible. It's horrific. It's tragic. It's all of those things, but it doesn't benefit me to sit in the energy of fear, of hopelessness, of tragedy. It doesn't help me to be in that space. I'm of better service to humanity if I am grounded, if I am, in a peaceful state, if I am present and I'm embodying truth. I'm much better off for everybody in that space. So we were learning the truth in pieces, right? It's kind of like when you peel back your onion to find out your truth underneath all of the things that have shaded you or shaped you or, caused you to wear a mask or apply some behavior that's not actually you, right? A lie about who you were, or a lie about, our whole divinity or our humanity or whatever the layer is that you pull back to reveal the truth of you. That's, those are layers that we peel back and to make the container larger, right? But we don't peel those layers back all at once, because if we did, it would be fracturing for people, right? But right now we're seeing it's just like, here's all this information, more, and it just keeps inundating us. It's like every time you turn around, there's another drama, there's another tragedy, there's another thing that's happening somewhere, some on the news, on the thing, right? And it's enough. It's too much. So you have to know when to pull your awareness back, or you have to know how to be detached from that and understand, what we came here to do. We came here to see that structure collapse, right? Because that's not how we're meant to live. We're not meant to live like that, right? With what's going on in the files that are being released, that's not how any of us are meant to live. We're not meant to live where the top level is filled with people that are doing those kinds of things. That's not the way that we're meant to live. We know that. We're meant to see that and go, no way. That's not how we do things. That's not how we live, and create life the way that we're supposed to live it. That's what we came here to do. Mm-hmm. All right. When we're on the Krystic path, and this is just walking the path of truth. That's all the Krystic path means, right? It's like my knowing, or my belief system, if we want to call it my belief, but to me it's my knowing, is that Yeshua didn't come here to teach religion or to obey government, right? Yeshua came here to teach you that the way was within, and that you could do everything that he could do, and in fact you would do more. And he taught, in my understanding, about energy and about unity consciousness and about the divine laws and how we're meant to live in harmony with things like Mother Gaia, all living beings, each other, the celestial beings. And so that's what I teach, what I believe that Yeshua came to teach. And that's what we're doing on Thursday. The Krystic path does not does not oppose expansion, right? And it sequences it. So it's not about just, we hit Aquarius season, okay, time to drop a whole bunch of new things, time to launch a whole bunch of new projects, time to just go with all this innovation and all these ideas. When you're walking the Krystic path, you know that we're following through the season in this beautiful order. And when you learn the order of it, it makes sense that we have these opportunities every year to keep refining and evolving and refining and evolving. And we start at the beginning of the year where there's a little more of a personal focus to it, because the energies that we're under become Aries season in March. So that's the individual, the self, the initiatory energy. It's also in like a beginning. So that's a beautiful energy to take action, to start something. And then you pass over to Taurus, and Taurus is about worth and value and comfort and luxury. And so you pass it to that more grounded energy. And that's what it wants to do. Taurus wants to take whatever you birth in that Aries energy, it wants to ground it and stabilize it so that it will be able to provide stability, that it is grounded in worth, that it is value. Gemini is the brain and communicator, and it separates from being, just the self into me and my friends or my group, right? So Gemini has that multiplication effect to them because they love to learn things or gather information and then share that information. So when we get to Gemini season, now we're into communication. We're into communicating about the stuff, and we're networking, right? So if we're looking at it from the aspect of, working through the year in sequence, if we birthed something in Aries season, that Taurus then grounded, made it sensible, the value, it's aligned, then Gemini's networking now. And then Cancer is reminding us that we also, there's nurturing. There's time that we spend where we're nurturing things. Not everything is needed to be launched immediately. Not everything is meant to be birthed to the world right away. Some things need that quiet womb space to grow and before they're shared with the world. Cancer is also protective, and it's also reminding you about the home, and it's bringing that very feminine energy to it. So it's governed by the moon, which is the emotions, your emotional landscape. We get to Leo season, and Leo is about authenticity and being, aligned with yourself and being expressive. And it's a very, Leo wants to make the whole entire show a success. And he wants everyone to shine. That's the Leo energy. But Leo energy is also that authenticity. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be my authentic energy, and I'm going to move forward from there. What we get from that Leo season, which if we're looking at the moon that we just went through, we just had the Leo moon. So we have that beautiful, this is me, I'm aligned, I'm authentic. This is what fires me up. And then we give it to Virgo, and Virgo says, well, let's refine the environment. If that's what fires you up, if that's what your authentic self is, then what can we do about this, everything around us, so that we can get there? Because it's about that mastery. Okay. Then we move from that mastery into Libra, and Libra's but we need to be in right relationships too. So Libra is about refining the relationships and being in balance and harmony, and also beauty. And justice and fairness, and those concepts are wrapped up in Libra. So there's really that being in those right relationships, and that right relationship starts with self. Then Libra passes it to Scorpio, and Scorpio says, let's go deeper. Let's peel back a layer. Let's really get into the depths of it. Let's do some shadow work. Let's die and be reborn. And that's what Ophiuchus becomes, is that resurrection energy. And it might feel like, sometime late October in November, that you may feel like you almost have this, in through the late October and into November and then into December, that there's this feeling of really refining and going through a dark night of the soul, or having shadow work or trauma coming up. There may be a lot of healing or truth that's revealed through Scorpio season. So you get really real in Scorpio. And then Ophiuchus is the resurrection. When Ophiuchus passes from that resurrection to Sagittarius, Sagittarius is about direction, and now it has the truth in which to head in the direction of, and is very future orientated. So it draws back its bow and it fires it in the direction of your truth now, which then gets passed off to Capricorn. And Capricorn, like I said, is that big daddy energy. And it's like, okay, how can we ground this energy? How can we create a solid foundation so that we can build a legacy that's going to last for generations? And then we go to Aquarius, and Aquarius is where we're at now we're going to be soon. Sorry, we're going to be going into Aquarius season. And Aquarius is about innovation. Like I said, future orientated. How can we take this and have it apply to the future? And also, how can we expand it so it's for humanity? Because Aquarius is also interested in that. So it's expansion without stabilization, though. If we don't work with the energies the way that we can and move through the season, honoring those energies as they come up. Like if you work with that energy every year, you're just peeling back another layer, refining a little further, going, it's just a mastery. And that's apparently what we came here to do, right? We came here to work on our enlightenment, right? To remember who and what we are and live in that way, to bring heaven to earth. I think there's a bunch of different ways that we could say it. But to live as we're meant to live, that's a very important reason why we're here. At least the light workers, the star seeds, the chosen ones, the earth angels, all of those that identify under those monikers, that's what you said you came here for. So what are you doing? Are you doing those things? This season is calling us to it, and we can't be messing around, right? We didn't come here to live the distorted human experience, which is what is out there right now. We're not meant to live like this. I mean, I like how I have done a really good job refining things, but anyway. So integrity comes from building on what is stable. Okay. And we want that integrity as we move into Aquarius season, right? So the integrity of Capricorn, building what is, from legacy, building from truth that it received from Sagittarius season, building from that solid structure. And that's what we want to do. So we're going to do a little embodiment practice, because that's what I do all the time, is put you through an embodiment practice, because the truth is not real unless it is lived. So let's do an embodiment practice. It's the same thing when we're doing therapy. If you're doing therapy and you're just going to a therapist and just talking, then it's only dealing with the top part of the trauma. It's not dealing with the body, right? And so there's two different types of therapy when it comes to trauma healing. There's top down and there's bottom up. Bottom up would be your somatic practices. So stuff like I'm getting you to do right now would fall into the category of a body-based practice. All right. So you can put a hand on your heart, you can put a hand on your lower belly, you can put both hands on your heart, whatever works with you. And you're just going to bring your awareness down into your lower body. Okay, you can bring it into your hips if you're seated on a chair. You can allow your awareness to drop even lower. If you're sitting with your feet firmly on the ground, or standing like I am, you can drop your awareness down into your calves and into your ankles and your feet, and just focus on the bottom part of your legs and what is connecting with the ground. Okay. And just feel that, feel it connecting, feel yourself grounded. You can slow down your breath if you want. I suggest it, whatever opportunity you have. Slow it down. Make sure, you're actually engaging your diaphragm and you're not just breathing up high. Now you're just going to ask yourself to just allow a vision to come forward. Whatever vision wants to come forward. And if you're somebody that doesn't visualize, maybe it'll be a feeling or just a knowing that'll rise for you. And as you invite that vision forward, Ask yourself if it can be held without urgency. So much of our life is in fast forward. It's rushing, it's running, it's our brain already in the next moment, in the next day, the next launch, worrying and spinning and spiraling. We spend a lot of time in urgent energy with an endless to-do list, or I got to do this to make this, I have to have this to do this, I must do this to make this so I can get that. There's lots of things that we tell ourselves about why we have to go, go, go and be hustle and bustle and grind. So the vision that you have, can you hold it without urgency? That feels really nice. And let the body answer. And remember, when we're dealing with things that are aligned, those answers are going to be grounded. They're going to feel safe. They're going to feel secure. They're going to feel expansive, hopeful, inspiring, joyful. They're going to feel positive to you. It's not going to feel tight or constricting or anxiety producing. It's going to feel much more grounded. So when we learn Christ consciousness, it actually stabilizes us, right? Especially when we're living it, right? It's not just about learning information, it's about walking it. And that's what the Krystic path is, that grounds that knowledge, right? Knowing the truth can stabilize you, but until you live it, it's not actual truth. It's not embodied. So as the field opens up, just let coherence lead wherever you feel aligned, right? When you feel balanced and settled and grounded, when you're not in an urgent state, your heart's not fluttering, you're not confused, you're not tight or constricted or any of those emotions, when you're not in those, that's coherence, when you're aligned with your truth. Right? When you're in that calm, steady, grounded, or like I said, expansive and joyful, those can fall in that space as well. But yes, thank you for joining me today and walking with me. I appreciate you all, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday afternoon. I'm not going to hang around here too long. I'm going to give a moment to see if there's any comments or anything from anyone watching on any of the channels. And if there's any questions or anything that anyone wants to share, but then I'm going to shut it off because I have a beautiful sunny day with really warm temperatures that I can go and enjoy. And I also have a few things that I'm working on that I really want to get to, including that return to center program that I'm going to be launching soon. All right. Okay. Well, like I said, it's a beautiful day out there and I'm not going to waste any more of it. It's a beautiful time. I'm going to go outside and enjoy it. I'm one of the lucky ones that happens to be in the one province that is getting, really, really beautiful weather this winter. So I'm going to go out and enjoy that. And for the rest of you, I hope you get nice weather soon. I really do. All right.